Are you bored? Do you need something to do? Why not take a history lesson? Wait. Not that kind of history lesson. A history lesson like none other. Hello, my name is Flossie. This is the Grape Jelly Library where we love to talk about books. Today we are going to talk about a book that I had no intention on reading. Once upon a time, not too long ago, I walked into my local Barnes and Nobles and I saw this book on the table immediately upon arriving. But I said to myself, nope. Not gonna do it. Not getting tangled up in the likes of you. Until just like 2 short months later, unbeknownst to myself, I'd be taking that journey and getting myself not only tangled in the book, but watching a documentary on it to boot. The book that I'm talking about is The Gales of November, the untold story of the SS Edmund Fitzgerald. Now, it was named after the president of Northwestern Insurance, Edmund Fitzgerald. What a story! What a story! I can't even believe it. All right, there's so much to tell. I have excitement in me about this book. Not about the tragedy that occurred, but about wanting you to read this book because it is so fascinating, so fabulous, so well written, and there's so much to explore and so much to know, and the time it'll just like speed by if you get yourself caught up in this tale. It's a true story, the story of the SS Edmund Fitzgerald, which was a freighter ship, 729 feet long and 75 feet wide, and it had 3 huge holding bays and 21 hatches. Now, these holding bays were humongous, but in reality, it was all like, it looked like 3 massive bays, but really what it was one huge compartment, the length of the ship. And since it was a freighter, it generally hauled taconite. Taconite is iron ore, and a big part of this story is taconite holds water. Which will play a huge factor in the end of this story. So, in the 50s, this ship was built, and it cost $8 million, and in today's day, that would be $100 million. And on June 8th, 1958, it was put into the water, and crowds from all over came to see this massive ship. And school children were allowed to take their field trip on it. The public was allowed to walk the decks and explore it, encouraged to do that. So in September, it made its maiden voyage. And you know what? I think it sailed those lakes, they called them lakes, in the book and in the documentary. Massive. But I lost my train of thought there. Ha ha! Okay, but anyways, stay with me. So it was the biggest freighter up until that point, and it sailed those lakes for about 17 years until tragedy struck. All right, let's talk about the business aspect of it. You know, with a ship this massive, it can generate some wealth, some, very, very productive, and it can make the money. That's what I'm trying to say. So men pushing limits, right? And so if we can get this much freight onto this ship, can we get this much more onto it? So, they're pushing their limits. They're seeing if they can do this thing, and they did. Some men were highly concerned and said, good thing. Don't advise it. And, they fought to have an act put forth because, you have to have limits, and you have to know what your limits were or are. So, anyways, they were allowed to put even more freight onto this, which caused this, the Fitzgerald, to sink an additional 4 feet into this water. And it was not tested. They didn't give it like a test run to see if, that was copacetic, if that was going to be cool. So, one day in November, it is out there on the water, and it's hauling taconite. And like I previously mentioned, taconite holds water. So it was a beautiful day. They say a day like none other in November. And a storm was fast approaching. But here's the thing, that storm was like 700 miles away. So they had some time. The book slightly varies from the documentary that I watched. In the book, they said there was some sort of competition between the captain of the Fitzgerald and a captain of another ship, and the captain of the other ship backed off, and even though the Fitzgerald was way ahead, that captain was competitive, and he just wanted to get even further ahead. So even though they were going in two different directions too. But anyways, beautiful day. Storm is, not anywhere near, and so let's do this thing. Let's haul our freight. So here's the thing. Sooner or later, that storm caught up with the ship, and oh boy, that's when the story, up until that point, the story is interesting, when we get to that point, it's gripping. It's like, you're not going anywhere. Now you're invested, and now you have to know, how is this going to end? And we know it's not going to end well, but, it takes this, we're actually on this ship with these men, and I'm fearing. I am very, very fearful. I'm holding out hope, because I am one of those that didn't know the story, so I didn't know the outcome. Now I know the outcome, but just I'm telling you, so well told that, if you have an imagination, you can picture yourself on this ship with those men and those who are in charge and their commands, and just the measures that were taken, and you're going to learn a lot. But it's not going to be like that, oh, I can't wait until this is over. I can't wait till I get out of here. What am I going to do when I, finish this class or this study? It's not like that at all. It's, for me at least, I hope it will be for you, it's, oh my gosh, was that good? That was so good. I'm not done yet. I need to further this study, and I needed to watch a documentary on it. The documentary is so well told. I'm going to put a link to the documentary that I watched in my description below. Those poor men. Did you know Gordon Lightfoot wrote a song about the Edmund Fitzgerald? Yeah, he did, and I never really paid attention to it, but I had to go listen to the song after I read the book and watched the documentary. So to discredit a history book, even if, you know, history's not your thing, because you just might surprise yourself. I like a good history book, you know, every now and again. And so, like, it's been a long time since I read one. I hope that you will pick this book up. It is so well written, so fascinating, so much information. It's absolutely 5 stars. It is absolutely that. And it is, I have to say, it's one of the top 3 books that I read in 2025. I will tell you that. Yeah, I was struggling to find those books. Like, I didn't think I was going to come out. Valhalla boys loved Brennan. Morton, I think his name was. Forgive. But anyways, loved that book. But, wow. The Edmund Fitzgerald is just like The Gales of November by John U. Bacon. You know, it's one of my top 3 books. So, there's that. I hope that, you know, you will pick it up. You know what? I would recommend the Audible version because there's a whole lot of drama involved in that. The story really comes to life when you do the Audible version of this book. And I have no other words to describe this book other than it is wonderfully written. It is, you know, I could talk a long time about this book. That's, you know, how much I love it. But when this ship sailed on that day in November, they said it was ideal weather. It was beautiful. Like a day in November that, you know, is very rare. That's how nice it was. And very, very quickly things turned for the worst. And for the worse. And now we find ourselves on this ship in these conditions, hauling more freight than we should be. Every possible thing that could go wrong as far as lighthouses being lit, radio frequencies, just anybody who could help us. It's just very, very tragic, very tragic, but so well written. Yeah, I would put this on my TBR, definitely. Yeah, so that's what I'm going to say about that book. Loved it. Until we meet again, know that I love you. Be well, be good, be reading.